As we start our life's journey, we face three big questions. We have countless answers for these three big questions, but what matters is whether we get them right. Getting them wrong has long term implications on wealth and happiness. By the way, can wealth and happiness be learned? Is getting rich only about hard work? Do most or all our efforts directly contribute to our goals? What if you know how you can prioritize better in daily life? This book, The Almanack of Naval Ravikant, answers these questions and much more, where Naval talks about health, wealth, happiness, and philosophy. By the way, who is Naval to talk about philosophy? Before that, let's look at what Indian movie star Shah Rukh Khan once shared. Be a king first before you become a philosopher. Basically, he means get rich and then talk philosophy. Shah Rukh Khan at his witty best. Naval Ravikant is a well-known entrepreneur and thinker who's made it big in business. From starting companies like AngelList, investing very early in Uber and Twitter, now X, to being named Angel Investor of the Year, Naval's success speaks for itself. Having made tons of money, Naval's ideas go beyond business and has had profound impact on many. This book on Naval has genuinely changed how I am approaching my choices in life. Get ready to discover a new perspective on the art of living. Hi, I'm Kishore, your companion in the extensive and beautiful universe of learning for life. As part of the Book Corner series, I'm thrilled to dive into my first book summary from a fascinating read, The Almanack of Naval Ravikant, written by Eric Jorgensen. Now let's dive into Naval's take on wealth. Naval's observation on wealth are as follows. 1. Only hard work is not enough. What you work on also matters. For example, you could work long hours in office or at a restaurant but still struggle for money. Similarly, in professional life, you would have observed colleagues who work really hard, are meticulous with administrative tasks, but miss out on moving the levers that matter and drive business growth. Number 2, understand that 99% of our effort is wasted. Now, what does Naval mean by this? In college, at work, or in relationships, Naval believes that 99% of our efforts are wasted. For instance, if you're studying geography in college and it doesn't interest you, his recommendation is to drop it and focus on what interests you. Similarly, in relationships, as soon as you realize it's not going anywhere, move on, find someone better. His point is that these experiences will definitely help you in lifelong learning, but it will no way contribute towards your goals. Hence, it is wasted time. Now that we have heard his thoughts on wealth, let's hear his suggestions on how do you build wealth. Naval's observations on wealth are as follows. 1. Own a piece of business. This is the best non-linear way to earn wealth and paths to financial freedom. Number 2. Naval values his 1 hour equal to $5,000, which helps him prioritize and focus. Decision making becomes simpler when you apply this hourly rate criterion. If fixing a problem will save less than your hourly rate, ignore it. If someone can do it for less than your hourly rate, then outsource it. Making apple juice, fresh salads and hot soup was taking away 30 minutes of my time. Instead of spending my time preparing, I outsourced it to our cook with additional compensation. This way, I saved time and redirected my energy towards activities that align with my goals. Naval has defined it at $5,000 per hour, but you might choose whatever value that you feel is right to you. But whatever you choose, ensure that your time is weighed against that value. Valuing your time doesn't mean you can't have fun or enjoy leisure activities. It's more about being mindful of how you spend your time and recognizing the associated opportunity cost. With that in mind, let's move to the next area that Naval talks about, and they are those three big questions. Those three big questions are where you live, who you live with, and what you do. Little time is spent on deciding which relationship to get into, which job to get into, and which city to live in. These are highly dominating decisions which will have a big impact on life. We could use readily available mental models when we face big decisions in life. There are many such models, but let us look at a few today. One of the first mental models that we are looking at today is inversion. If you're not sure what is going to work, it is better to eliminate what's not going to work. Success is more about avoiding mistakes than making correct judgments. For example, when I'm hiring, if I have a small feeling that this might not work, I choose not to hire that candidate. That way, I ensure the elimination of something that is not going to work. Now let's move to the second mental model, which is if you can't decide, then the answer is no. When faced with a difficult decision like marriage, job choice, hiring, purchasing a house, relocating, or entering a business partnership, if there is an iota of doubt or if the decision cannot be made, then the answer is no. The next mental model that Naval talks about is run uphill. What Naval means by running uphill is if you're evenly split on a difficult decision, take the path more painful in the short term. Having looked at a few mental models, Naval states that reading is the only effective way of learning mental models. Reading should not be for the sake of it. That's why it is said there is a big difference between going through a book and a book going through you. One of the wisest men ever, Charlie Munger, said, "As long as I have a book in my hand, I don't feel like I'm wasting time." After exploring wealth and mental models, now it's time to turn our attention to happiness. Naval says the three big pursuits in life are wealth, health, and happiness, and we unfortunately pursue them in that order, whereas their importance is actually in the reverse order, which is happiness, health, and wealth. Now let us explore the causes of unhappiness one at a time. 1. Fear and desire. According to Naval, our thoughts are 90% fear-based and 10% desire-based. Number 2, desires. We keep thinking, I want this, I want that, and we are constantly trapped in a cycle of desires. According to Naval, a desire is a contract that you sign with yourselves to remain unhappy until you get what you want. Number 3 is should. Socially, we are pressured with messages like you should work out, you should look good, buy a house, thus creating an external multiplayer game where our performance is judged by others. A key philosophical text in Taoism explains that unhappiness arises from duality and polarity. Saying I am happy implies I was once sad. Describing someone as attractive implies someone else is unattractive. Every positive thought contains a seed of negativity and vice versa. Good news is that, like wealth, happiness can also be learned. Folks, it's going to get quite exciting, as in a minute from now, I'll be walking through the 3 key takeaways from this book. But before that, let's look into Naval's points on path to happiness. Naval suggests to have no more than one big desire in his life at any given time, and also accepts that one desire as the axis of his suffering and an area which he has chosen to be unhappy about. He suggests that while working, you should surround yourself with people more successful than you, and while playing, surround yourself with people more happier than you. Since reading this book a year ago, I stay close to a select set of friends, family, and colleagues, making myself available to them while politely declining invitations to gatherings or meeting unhappy and negative people. According to Naval, life is a single player game. Before birth and after death, we don't care about anything. It's only in the middle we seem to be caring too much about everything. Naval suggests that we should be playing a single player game instead of a multiplayer competitive game. Having understood Naval's views on wealth and happiness, let us transition to the 3 key takeaways from this book. 1. Continuous learning. Keep reading and learning to apply mental models in life situations to solve everyday problems, including the 3 important life decisions. Number 2, efficient hard work. Hard work alone isn't enough. It must be directed effectively. Assign value to each minute of time to work on what truly matters. Number 3 is positive influence. Surround yourselves with positive, happy, and supportive people instead of being surrounded with negative, political, cribbing, and toxic people. And finally, who better than Shah Rukh to tell us about success, as he's mastered the art of getting rich with his blockbuster movies. It's only a matter of time before he starts teaching us Philosophy 101 like Naval. Show your love and support by subscribing, liking, and sharing this video if you haven't already. Special thanks to my friend Rajneesh, a serial entrepreneur who also owns the Rumi restaurant in Bangalore, for recommending this book. I highly recommend all of you to grab a copy where Naval also recommends his favorite books to read. I'll be back again soon with my life learnings from books and experiences. Signing off, your Kishore.